It's always cool to watch everybody's different perspective on what's going on. Now, I am, by all accounts, a Star Wars normie, and I always make that clear instead of being like other guys and pretending like I know what I'm talking about regarding like the details of everything that happens. No, I straight up tell you, I'm a Star Wars normie. Probably no more than basic normies, but I'm a Star Wars normie by all accounts. There are people that I watch that are way more knowledgeable on like the Star Wars stuff. People on the Geeks and Gamers team, definitely Ryan, who knows that stuff like the back of his hand. Nerdrotic, all those guys, they know way more than I do. My thing has been the Marvel and DC stuff. I'll test my knowledge on that against anybody, but this Star Wars stuff, not so much. However, because of our show, Tuesday Night's Main Event, and other various stuff, I've been keeping tabs on at least the conversation. Am I watching this? Absolutely not. You cannot pay me to watch anything coming from Disney. Nonetheless, Obi-Wan Kenobi, or the Kenobi show, that was recently used. It's hilarious watching the different reactions here. Of course, as to be expected, access media types, blue check marks, various other randos. If you criticize this Reva character, you did it because you were racist. It was, or maybe even because you're sexist, or you're sexist and you're racist. Either way, you could not be criticizing the character itself, how they were wrote, the actors' bad the ability to act, and I have seen clips of it, thanks to Nerdrotic and whatnot. And yeah, she doesn't seem very good at what it is that she's doing, nonetheless. And I can see how she can be very unlikable. And that's been a consensus among people that have been critical of her, like definitely on our corner of the internet more so. Has nothing to do with her racial makeup or anything. It's that the story is goofy. None of this makes sense. And it's the story even of Kenobi in itself can be is there's canon breaking aspects of it. But this is funny because the Access media thinks the complete opposite. And I'm not saying that. Not that the fact that they think that she's a poor character. No, they think they didn't do enough. Access media thinks they didn't do enough, even though she effectively hijacked the show, basically making it about her. It was almost a Kenobi show that wasn't about Kenobi. They said it wasn't enough, even though it's clearly Kenobi. They said they misused her. She wasn't elevated enough. According to CBR. So they agreed that they put her in an incoherent role. They thought Reva, who was going to be the third sister, would be the focal point of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, she was, but imagine that. Someone not named Kenobi being the focal point of Kenobi. It wasn't like the show was called Reva, though she's for sure going to get, they're probably going to give her own show, a movie or something, I don't know. But that's not the name of the damn show. It's called Kenobi. The first episode of Disney Plus series set her up to be an elite hunter of the Inquisitors, jockeying for power while knowing the secret that Darth Vader was a fallen Jedi. However, by the time the series wrapped, Reva was underused and a little more than a crutch in a battle with between Obi-Wan and Vader. The show is not hers, Access Media, CBR. The show ain't hers. Reva's entire mission didn't make any sense. Oh, it's funny. People would criticize that and say, and they would say that exact thing or a variation of it, and they're racist. But you get to say that. She was a youngling that faked her death in Order 66 only to infiltrate Vader's guard in hopes of one day catching him with his guard down. But the show never detailed how she snuck into the Inquisitor. It's funny, man, hearing them say that. It's like, well, okay, the season is over. Now I get to say what my honest feelings are instead of just saying Reva is the best character ever made and you should stop being racist. But the show never detailed, again, all that, blah, 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 basically saying that that's the continuity of it all doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Again, many people that are on our corner of the internet said exactly that, and they were called racist. because of that, because you couldn't dare fix your mind to believe that there were people that were critical of it for reasons that were legitimate, that had nothing to do with her race. Maybe you slid her in there because of that, but that ain't got nothing to do with what the actual criticism of the show per se is. At no point, it says, Reva's journey needed to be fleshed out more. It made no sense that Reva could kill families or aid the Empire in doing so when she was hurting from Anakin Skywalker murdering hers at the Coruscant temple. Excuse me. At no point did Obi-Wan Kenobi even hint she had a moral code or was conflicted by the light, so it felt inorganic. When Obi-Wan got her to hasten her revenge on Vader in episode 5, the character felt contradictory, especially when she later went after Luke Skywalker too. Again, there are people that have said exactly this, okay? And at no point did the Access media legitimize their arguments. Instead, they wanted to hear what they did not hear. And that was, oh, this person is a racist. These people don't like strong female leads. That type of goofy stuff was always the case. Yet Access media finally admits that this didn't make any sense. Even they're conceding that. But that's the problem, though, that the only reason they're conceding it is because they think it didn't do enough. They said she should have been a central villain. You know they're not going to do that, make her a central villain. Because people can't just be villains anymore. Anyway, there's always have to be a gray area. And you think they're going to make a black person a villain? Not anymore. Meanwhile, Vader would have built up shadows, blah, blah, blah. Such a direction would have made Reva resonate more as a character. While also expanding on why she struggled with. This is what I will say. It said Obi-Wan Kenobi could have given Reva a proper rebel origin story. This is my thing. The issue isn't that people have, isn't that she's there. I think actually people would argue that she's there too much because it becomes her show. But Access Media is hilarious hearing where they're arguing from, because they're arguing from a point of they didn't do enough for her. So one side says, y'all did too much, and the continuity errors make no sense. It's not her show. The other side, which is Access Media side, is like, y'all didn't do her justice because there's not enough of her. Bro. The show is named Kenobi. I don't know if anybody picked up on that. That the show is named after the nostalgia keys that they dangled when you would see people returning in their roles. For those of you that enjoyed that trilogy, if you will. That's all that it was. Nostalgia keys. Ewan McGregor could return in his role. Hayden returned as well, to my knowledge. I don't think some people have moaned about his lack of de-aging, but they returned. And that was the keys that it wasn't Reva. Now, they might have bait and switched y'all. But it's hilarious people thinking that, well, the character that this show ain't even about, well, y'all didn't do enough. She's not there enough. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.